up, y'all? It's your girl Shantia, and I'm back with another banger, another word. Okay, now listen, y'all, I got a word for y'all today. But first, I just want to say that tickets to the First Class Summit, my conference in Atlanta, Georgia, virtual tickets are still on sale. So make sure y'all go get y'all tickets. Make sure that you're in the building. You don't want to miss it. God is moving in this season, child. Listen. Also, for those that have yet to purchase my ebook, you can go to ATrueDiamondLLC and get my ebook. It's called A Love Within Workbook. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that I link all this down below. But listen, y'all, so I got a word for y'all today, and I really didn't know the title of this word, but I'm gonna just go with you will bear much fruit. Okay, you will bear much fruit. And so actually, let me read the scripture. Okay. And so God led me to John 15 verse 5, where it says, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Okay. And so when I was thinking about that scripture and just thinking about, you know, God saying, if you remain in me, you will bear much fruit. But apart from me, you can do nothing. Okay. And so in this season, God is saying you're going to have to remain in me in order to see it come to pass. God is saying you're going to have to continue to push forward in order to see it come to pass. And a lot of y'all might be on the other side of the wall. A lot of y'all might be exactly leaning up against the thing that God is trying to tear down. And in this season, you're going to have to look a devil in his face. In this season, you're going to have to look your problem in his face and know that God is on your side, and step boldly and face the problems and the circumstances and the situations in your life in order to take hold from it so that the walls could come down and you can cross over to the other side. Listen, child. Anyways, that wasn't even in my notes. But anyways, y'all, so when I was thinking about you will bear much fruit, okay, I also was just thinking about obedience. And so I know I did a video talking about true obedience is success, but I think what a lot of people don't realize is that when you remain in God and you begin to stay consistent and obedient, you have no idea how God is using you. Obedience is not just about you listening to God, but it's whatever God is trying to do through you in order to get through to another person, or in order to break a generational curse, or in order to help somebody. You have no idea the ways that God is using you through your obedience, okay? And so listen, child, for those that don't know, this past week I had a speaking engagement at a HBCU. It was absolutely beautiful, absolutely phenomenal. Okay, I was so excited, and I went straight from the speaking engagement to go visit a friend. Okay, and long story short, y'all, I had just met this girl, but it was nothing but a divine connection from God. And while I had went to the city, I had went to go see my sister. Okay, and a lot of y'all don't know my sister anyway, so long story short, my sister is right now incarcerated, okay? And I haven't seen her in some years. And about a year ago, or not even a year ago, a couple months ago, I had found out that she was incarcerated, okay? And for some reason, it just wasn't sitting on my spirit. And one thing that I don't like is, like, if I'm out here helping millions of people and helping people all over the world, there's no reason why I shouldn't be helping, you know, my family or my siblings and stuff. And so I'm a very overprotective person. I love my siblings. I'm the oldest out of all of my siblings on my mama's side and my daddy's side. But anyways, y'all, so, and this is my only sister. And so, anyways, I had went to go see her, right? And so it was a surprise visit because we haven't talked in years, but it was just sitting on my spirit where I just had to go, you know, see her because God asked me to. And so while I was there, y'all, I was clearly on assignment. God was using me when I went there to go see her. Nobody, not a friend, not a family member, nobody has yet come to see her since she been in there. Now, can you imagine when you're in a season of if some of y'all are in mind prisons, okay? Some of y'all are in prisons in this world, okay? Maybe it's the prison of depression, maybe it's the prison of heartbreak, wherever your prison is in this season, okay? Can you imagine being in that prison and you're by yourself and nobody is checking up on you? I know a lot of y'all have the testimony, okay, where you're alone and nobody seems to be checking up on you, but I just want you to know that God is checking up on you. I just want you to know that that somebody is about to come to you and speak forth. And it may be somebody that you least expect. And it may be somebody that you haven't talked to for years. But it was all confirmation that God cares about you. And God cared about my sister. And we never even had a relationship. But God still used me in that moment in order to get through her. And I said, God, I will go. I will be the one. And it literally brought tears to my eyes when I went there. And she was so excited and so elated to see me. But it brought tears to my eyes to know that she's been sitting there all alone. And nobody has come to see her. But yet her face was shining bright like a diamond, child. Listen. And so anyways, I began talking to her, ministering to her, just giving her life and love. She's been telling me how she's been staying in God's presence and, reading her word and learning the lessons and, just doing all of the things that she needs to do. And one thing that she said is whenever I get out of here, I'm going to work on becoming a new woman, or basically how you say okay, once I get to a certain level or a certain place or out of this mess or whatever is when I'm going to start doing the work. And my exact words to her was, no, you got to start while you're in the prison. You have to start while you're in the darkness, because even though you're in a prison, you can still bear much fruit. And that's why God led me to that scripture to say, if you remain in me, you will bear much fruit. It doesn't matter the season that you're in. It doesn't matter the darkness that you're in. It doesn't matter the darkness that you're surrounded by. God said, if you remain in me, you can still bear much fruit. If you remain in me, you can still birth purpose. If you remain in me, you can still change your entire environment around. And so I encourage her to change the entire environment around. Just because you're in a prison doesn't mean that you're in a prison. Physically, you might be in a prison, but mentally you're free. But spiritually, you're free. Listen, child. And so I was talking to her, and it brought tears to my eyes. Not only for her, but just my obedience. Because who would have known that I will be the first person that she gets to see, and we haven't spoken, nor have we ever had a close relationship my entire life. And that's why you got to be obedient in this season, and you have to remain in God, and you have to listen to God, and you have to take heed to the things that he's asking you to do, because you have no idea how he's using you. You have no idea how you're the one that is going to be sent back. You have no idea the things that God is doing through you. And so in this season, God is saying you have to remain in me. You have to continue praying. You have to continue seeking. You have to continue sacrificing, because on the other side of this, there's greatness. On the other side of this, lives are being saved. On the other side of this, chains are being broken. Listen, child. And not only that, was I planting seeds in her, but I was also planting seeds in the people that I was meeting, that was surrounding me, in the city that I was in. I'm thinking I'm going there to have a good time, to get a break. But God said, no. You're going to have a good time. You're going to get a break. But I also need you to bear fruit. I also need you to do something that you've never done before. God said, I also need you to step out your comfort zone and go into places and spaces that look foreign, that are unknown to you, because there's something that I'm trying to do. My God, God said, I'm shaking up the chains. God said, I'm shaking up the environment. God said, I'm shaking up certain environments and cities in this season where the devil can no longer have access to you. Listen, child. Listen. You got to get curious about the chains that you're bound to. Don't just focus on what you're bound to, but you have to ask God, what is this principality? What is this thing that is holding me back? And the situation that she's in is a generational curse. And the situation that she's in is not the first situation that has happened in my family. And the situation that she's in, I said, God, if you could do it for one, you could do it for another. God, if you could do it for me, you could do it for her. God has grace for that. God has grace for that. Listen, child. I don't know who I'm talking to. It's hot. Summer is here, okay? I don't know who I'm talking to, but the thing that I had wrote down was, you have to do something you've never done before in this season. You're going to have to do something you've never done before in this season. It's going to be scary. It's going to be nervous. The enemy is going to try to count you out. He's going to try to come into your mind. The negative thoughts are going to try to creep up to tell you that you're not worthy, to tell you that you don't belong here. But the simple fact that God placed it in your spirit to go there, the simple fact that God placed it in your spirit to create it, the simple fact that God placed it in your spirit to give you that idea to birth something new in this season is all the confirmation that you need in this season, because you know that you yourself could have never and would have never even thought about doing something like that. You yourself would have known that you never even would have had the capacity to think an idea like that. But because God gave it to you, God said, I need you to birth forth. God said, I need you to push in this season. I need you to pull it out on this season, because what's on the other side of this wall, my God, when I was speaking to my sister on the wall, oh my Jesus, when I was speaking to my sister through the wall, through the glass wall, I was looking at her. And all I saw was the light that was in her. But the thing that kept hitting my spirit was what was on the other side of this wall. And currently she was in a prison, my God, physically. But listen, on the other side of the wall, it was freedom. It was me that she was looking at. I was looking at a reflection of me, because I remember being in the prison of attempting suicide. I remember being in the prison of anxiety. I remember being in the prison of heartbreak. I remember being in the prison of poverty. I remember being in the prison of lack. I remember being in the prison of thinking that I wasn't good enough, and everybody's prisons look different. But the fact that I showed up to show her that there was something on the other side of that wall, my God, was the only confirmation that she needed. It was the hope that she needed to hold on just a little bit longer, to know that this is temporary. God set you down to get your attention. God set you down in this season to get your attention. He said, I had to sit you down so that I can recreate you, so that I can show you who I created you to be from the inside out. And so you can't get distracted by your environment, because the only environment that matters is the environment that you create between you and God. The only thing that matters is the atmosphere that you set between you and God. And so God said, in this season, if you just remain in me, you will bear much fruit. No matter what your circumstance is, no matter what your environment is, no matter what problem you're facing, no matter what darkness you're looking at, no matter what it is that's standing in front of you, God said, if you remain in me, you will bear much fruit. And so listen, child, I just want to prophesy over somebody that this is the season where you're going to reap what you've sown. That this is the season where it's all going to make sense. That this is the season where you're going to bear much fruit. That this is the season where God said it's going to come to pass in a way that you've never expected. Listen, child, I don't know who this word was for, but I pray that it encourages you to remain in God and to continue being obedient. Obedience always doesn't feel good, but there's a purpose behind your obedience. You don't know who you're helping. You don't know who is dealing with what. And so God said, in this season, I just need you to listen to me, because it's bigger than what you can see.